I ride for my wife.
I ride for my grandpa.
I ride for my family.
I ride for my mom.
I ride for my dad.
I ride to end Alzheimer's.
Good morning, everyone. I am so pleased to welcome you here today for the Alzheimer's Association Ride to End ALZ Fall Virtual Challenge. It's an honor to be a part of the inaugural year of this cycling event that's bringing us all together to fight Alzheimer's and end dementia. Currently in the United States, more than 5 million people are living with Alzheimer's, and 16 million individuals are serving as unpaid caregivers. As the prevalence of this disease continues to grow, the cost of care is escalating into the hundreds of billions of dollars. Alzheimer's is destroying our families, our finances, and our future. And it's time to end it. And today, all of us are here doing our part, and we thank you. Ultimately, the end of Alzheimer's will come through research. 100% of the money that you raise through the Ride to End ALZ will go towards funding some of the most promising research studies in the field. Currently, the association is investing over $208 million in more than 590 active best of field projects. And that's in 31 different countries. One day we will end this disease, and we're going to do it together. So who's with me in this fight? I know we're all together, yet apart today, but let's hear you give a big cheer wherever you are joining us from. It's going to be an awesome day. So I have the honor to introduce our first guest, Alzheimer's Association President and CEO, Harry Johns. Harry, I know you participated in the first spring challenge, and here we are again today riding together and making history with the first fall virtual challenge. It's really good to see you again. How have the last few months been for the Alzheimer's Association?
Well, David, it's great to see you, and I want to thank you for your continued leadership on this effort as well. Thank you so much for doing that and continuing to. You know, it's been a challenging time for all organizations, of course, all individuals, but despite that, you know, things are happening. People are still moving the mission. I have to thank each of you out there today. Everything you're doing is making a difference for those who have the disease. And of course, today, to advance the research. You know, I recognize that you perhaps individually have been affected by COVID, certainly likely by Alzheimer's. So my thoughts are with you and your families as you deal with these circumstances. I want you to know that the association and so many other volunteers and our staff have really stepped up in these times, just as you are today. And it is making such a difference for our ability to address these things even in these times, despite COVID, despite wildfires and hurricanes. The resilience of our volunteers and staff and our donors has just been inspiring, even more than normal. I'm always inspired by all of our folks, and right now it is even more so true. So thank you so much for making all of those things possible, even in this time.
Well, it's really great to hear the organization is doing well, Harry, and overcoming challenges. It's been such a unique time. How is it from your perspective to see all the riders today out there, not only riding, but walking to end Alzheimer's? We've got a lot of participants getting out there and staying really committed. It's awesome.
It really is, Dave. 500 plus riders today, 5 countries represented, all 50 states. 175,000 or so walkers. I walked myself yesterday in the virtual event for Chicago, and we'll be doing this event today with all of you. So it's just great that everyone keeps these things going. And as a result, we can keep the things going that we do again for people every day and advance the research effort. You know, the research effort itself was somewhat disrupted because people couldn't go to their labs at the early stages of the pandemic. But we are, in fact, hear more. The writers will hear more from Dr. Maria Carrillo a little bit later, who leads our research program and does such a great job of it. But we have kept things going despite it. You talked about the amount of funding we have going. We're the largest funder of Alzheimer's research among all nonprofits worldwide. And First Thomson Reuters, now Clarivate, says the highest impact. And in fact, not only just among nonprofits, but third in impact behind only the United States federal government and the Chinese government. You make those things possible. You, Dave, all the writers, all the donors, make those things possible for us to continue to drive this research agenda worldwide.
Boy, last night, Harry, I was so impressed with the volunteers that we heard from. And I know that the Alzheimer's Association is a volunteer-run organization, but the commitment and involvement from these volunteers is absolutely mind-blowing. I have to imagine they're always going to be as important, but in these times, has their importance even increased?
Oh, absolutely, Dave. Our organization was indeed founded by volunteers who saw the need in 1980. And the result of that original work by volunteers is that we now have an organization that is the leader in research worldwide, leader in providing care and support 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And those volunteers deliver programs in communities across the country every day. And of course, they make everything else possible through the donations they raise, all of the work they do. The writers will hear a little bit later, I believe, from Dave Goldman, our chair of the board. Our governing board has done such a great job in these times, and our volunteers across the country. As you said, it's just amazing, inspiring, and even more so today.
I hear you, Harry. You couldn't find a more committed group, that's for sure. So, hey, good luck on your ride today. I hope that goes really well. And while we're out there, I'm sure you'll be thinking about all those volunteers. They're certainly special, and we can't thank them enough for giving their time. I know I was inspired, that's for sure, by all of our volunteers at the Spring Ride to End ALZ event. And I can tell today is going to be another really inspirational day. So, we asked Harry to take some selfies before his ride, and we hope that all of you will do the same and share them with us. You can post them on social media, use hashtag Ride2EndALZ, so hashtag Ride2EndALZ, or you can mail them to us at ride@alz.org. The photos are a big part of what make these events so special. I love when you share, and it really gives us that feeling like we're all riding together. It might seem like a simple thing, but these photos really do help us remember the event and everything we've accomplished through the ride that we're doing today. So everyone has a reason why they ride. And speaking of photos, photos are especially important to one of our VIPs today, Don Cook. Don participated in our Spring Virtual Challenge, and he left a big impact on a lot of us. And he's also riding here today. I would love for you to hear more about Don's story.
As the saying goes, a picture
That's what we had to use right after we got married.
oh, that's a great one. is worth 1,000 words.
We took one in the car one time. We're sitting at a red light.
And Don Cook's pictures of his wife Carol
That's kind of how she looked day to day.
are all he has left of their love story.
So when I was sitting beside my bed,
Yeah.
I saw her, I said, oh my God. He says, forget it. She's way out of your league. He says, I'm going to marry that gal.
They met in 1969 and married 1 year later.
And my daughter saw us sitting there. She took a picture and she said, you always look like newlyweds. You're always so happy together. And we were. She's my best friend from the day I first saw her until the day I lost her. That's why we were together so long. You find somebody that you care for and you love, and it's your best friend, not just your wife or husband, but your best friend, your lover, And it makes a lot of difference. And this is the one she wanted to take. This way after we moved into her house.
In the early 2000s, Don started to see a difference in Carol. She would forget water boiling on the stove or leave the car running.
2010, she started getting a lot worse, and that's when they told us that she's got signs of Alzheimer's, that it's not good. Because I showed her the picture after I took it. She, "That's me? That is you. That's your beautiful self. That's you." And it hit you so hard. And Alzheimer's, it took me by surprise because I didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what she had when she did have it until I found out more about it. And I always told her, she says, "Am I gonna be okay?" "Yep, we can fix this." But I couldn't fix the Alzheimer's. So in the next 8 months were pretty hard on her. I mean, the last 4 years were really tough on her, but that last 8 months was hard.
In October of 2016, the final picture developed.
Alzheimer's took away my life. They almost really did, because when I lost Carol, that was it. I didn't care if I lived to see the next day, and that went on for several years.
Are you mad at Alzheimer's?
Yes. Every day. And for a while, I was mad at God. Even to the day before she died, she was always so pretty, so beautiful. Just so hard to deal with. And I blame myself a lot. It says, "Why, God? Why'd you take her from me?" But that's nothing I can do about that now. I'm not going to have her come back and walk through those doors again like I always thought she would. But now we just get on with the next step to help the next Carol, the next people in line. Try to prevent this from continuing.
One step and one day at a time. But Don still didn't have a reason to take any new photos yet. Until 2019, when he saw a Ride to End ALZ booth and met a new friend, me.
And I saw you with that sign that says Ride to End Alzheimer's. It just took me out like a magnet. I saw that, says I need to do this. And something just pushed me over there, and there you were. And when I saw you and I met you, and I found out what you were doing, I said, "Thank you, God." You are there. So it was maybe the best thing that's happened to me since I lost Carol, was something like doing this for Alzheimer's.
Life is still an uphill battle without Carol by his side.
Every day it was just her and me.
But Don has a new purpose now. A purpose to tell everyone and anyone that will listen about the Ride to End ALZ.
Yeah, everybody has a purpose, and I guess that's why I'm still here, and I've been riding a little bit now. I ran into a friend, rode with her a few weeks ago. We did 30 miles. It was great. It felt so good to get back on that bike.
So if you see Don out riding, take a picture. I wouldn't be surprised if he inspired you to get more involved.
Come on, let's ride. Let's go.
And you might catch a glimpse of an angel on his shoulder.
Now I can ride with the Ride for ALZ jerseys and shorts. I show off my, I ride with the pretty big halo on my head now when I'm riding with that on, and I feel pretty good about it. And people ask me about it, and I tell them exactly why I'm riding for this. For Carol and everybody like her.
Joining me now is that friend of Don's and a friend to everyone that is a part of this Ride to End ALZ. Man, that really touches me. This is Sarah Prevost, the Ride to End ALZ cycling director. Good to see you again, Sarah. Wow, Don has quite the story, and I really see why you do what you do. I'll be honest, that brings me to tears.
I mean, I'm trying not to cry here as I'm on camera, but I've even, I've heard Don's story so many times, and every time it just breaks my heart. Ever since I met him, I've wanted to tell his story. I mean, it's just, it's so emotional, and there's so many stories like Don's.
Yeah, boy. So it had to have been interesting. I mean, when you hear in the video Don telling the story of him almost being pushed towards you, obviously things happen for a reason. When you met Don, how did it go from "Hi, I'm Don" to making these huge moves? I mean, he's an instrumental player for the Alzheimer's Association now.
He is, and that's the great thing about the Ride to End ALZ is you really can't not get involved. I mean, if you have a connection to Alzheimer's like Don, or if you have someone in your family that you know or love with Alzheimer's or dementia, you just have to get involved. I mean, it's what makes you feel better in a disease that oftentimes makes you feel very helpless. So it's therapeutic to volunteer with others that are going through what you're going through. It helps you to not feel so alone. And it's also awesome to participate. Again, like I said, there's so many stories. I've talked to so many of you, and you inspire me. You are motivating that we're doing something about this. And I can't say thank you enough. As Harry mentioned, we have over 500 riders today of 5 countries, all 50 states. And I've heard so many of your stories. And I just want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your stories and your life with me. And now I have the honor and privilege to go through our top 10 lists, top 10 individuals, and top 10 fundraising. And I'm going to start with individuals, and I'm going to share some of these great stories and the reasons people ride. So at number 10, Mark Maston, $2,637. He's riding for his dad. And actually, Mark already did his event. He did 112 miles last week. In 9th place, Travis Stadler is riding for his mom, Loretta. What a beauty here. She was just diagnosed with dementia in June. Travis has raised over $3,050. In 8th place, Arthur Flateau has raised over $3,109. He is riding for his mom. This is a great picture of him, his mom, and his kids. Number 7, Kathy Anderson Myers. Look she's sporting the whole gear, and she's so excited about it today. She's raised over $3,235. Her husband, Gino, died from Alzheimer's in 2018. Number 6 place, Kathy Harm. Kathy is riding for her mom, Nancy, who passed away from dementia in 2010. She's also riding for her friend's mom, Pauline. She's raised $3,585. Oh, these people are all doing so amazing. Skip Walker. This is Skip's mom and his Aunt Jean and Aunt Grace. He's lost all 3 of them to dementia in 2015. Skip has raised over $4,020. He is doing his first century ride today. Good luck, Skip. Josh Sharon is riding for change. He has raised over $5,234. Go, Josh. In our 3 spot, Stephen Schulman is riding for his mom, Naomi, who has Alzheimer's. And actually, today would have been his dad's 90th birthday. Today. So he's also riding for his mom. Thanks, Stephen. Number 2 spot, Robert Carney is riding for this beautiful lady, his grandmother. He's raised over $6,329. And this one gets me almost as much as Don's. Jonna White, she has raised over $10,000. It took her almost a year or more, and she has worked so hard. Congratulations, Jonna. Jonna is riding and has so much family and friends support. She's riding for her mom and her dad, who she has lost to Alzheimer's. Now on to the teams. Oh, teams are so great because they are a great way to encourage each other, and they're riding together in big groups today. Number 10, Team Jackie. Look at this beautiful woman, Jackie. This is Chris Simmons' mom, who passed away last year from Alzheimer's. So the number 10 team is Team Jackie. Number 9, Team Lillian. This is Lisa and Gwendolyn. They are riding to honor their Aunt Kathy and Grandpa Stevens. They both lost to Alzheimer's. Number 8, the Reston Riders, led by Quinn and Jared. They're riding for Missy and Yaya at the number 8 spot. Number 7, you might have seen these guys back in the spring. Mandy and Bill are riding. This is their Grandpa Bob, $2,255. They rode more than 80 miles yesterday on their fat tire bikes in Minnesota. Great job, Mandy and Bill. Number 6, Team Rocky. Karen and Kim LeBlanc are riding for their dad, Rocky. They've raised over $2,300. And man, these spots, they're changing today. Everybody's raising and doing a great job, so they're changing. Number 5, for dad. Sisters, Edna and Elena, are riding because they lost their dad to Alzheimer's in 2018. The number 4 spot, we heard Team Gino, Kathy Anderson Myers, riding for her husband. And that's her gear. She loves that gear. I love it. Number 3 spot, the California Real Estate Inspectors Against Alzheimer's, led by Skip Walker, over $4,000. The number 2 spot, I'm so proud of this team, led by Susie Vargas, the Riding to Fight Alz team. Oh, they are having fun down in Texas today. And our number 1 team, led by our top fundraiser, Jonna White, $11,912. Woo! Look at this great cutie. She has people all ages on her team, and she has so much family support. And I just, it has been so emotional this weekend to hear all of your stories. I can't wait to see all the pictures of all the riders coming in. Dave, there is still time if people want to register today and raise money to earn the jersey. This jersey that I'm wearing, I've got another one here. If somebody wants to raise money to get this one, this jersey is like a badge of honor. So it's been a great day so far.
Sarah, I hear people all the time are asking, where can I buy this jersey? But it's important to note that that is not for sale, correct? Or did things change?
It is not for sale. As I said, it's like a badge of honor. You have to raise $500 to get the jersey. So if you see someone in this jersey, and we're starting to see them on the streets all over the country, just know that they have done a lot to get it. And thank them. I mean, $500 is not easy, but if you share your story, I know you can do it. So anybody can get that jersey. You just have to ask those that to support you. And if you don't ask them, it's kind of denying them the ability to help. So make sure to get out and ask your friends and family and earn that jersey.
I already feel inspired to raise the money, get the jersey, and go to a ride next year, because hopefully we can all be together again in 2020. And I tell you, the first thing I'm going to do, Sarah, is go up and shake Don's hand.
And take his picture, right? Take your picture with him. We don't know what next year will bring, but we really hope that we can have 2 virtual challenges, because so many people say, keep doing this because I want to do it on a ride near me if they can't travel to one of our in-person. So we'll have another spring virtual challenge and then a late summer. And then we're going to have 2 in-person events, or at least that's the plan. One in June in Colorado and one in October in Texas. And you've got to raise $500 to do our in-person events, but our virtual challenge events will be free registration and fundraising will be optional.
Well, thanks again, Sarah. I'll be honest, your genuine enthusiasm and passion makes this whole family feel so much closer together. So thanks for all you do for the Alzheimer's Association. You're absolutely awesome.
You're welcome.
Well, so that's our friend Sarah. There are so many fundraisers in the Ride to End ALZ that have such inspiring stories. And even though we can't all be together today in person, it feels like we're doing some big things together, and we're off to a great start. So for those of you that are watching today that haven't donated yet, here's a great chance to give a little more. It's really easy, actually. All you have to do is text RIDE ALZ to 51555. Again, RIDE ALZ to 5155. And 100% of the donations go directly to research. That is really important to note. Every single penny is heading to research. And that's why I'm so excited to introduce our next guest, Dr. Maria Carrillo. Maria is the Chief Science Officer at the Alzheimer's Association, and she's here to discuss some of the latest developments in Alzheimer's research. Maria, I know so many people are interested in what you have to say. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks. It's great to be here. I'm honored to be here with all of you. Thanks, Dave, for leading us off on such a great day. And on behalf of the dementia research community, I just want to thank you all for everything that you're doing for fundraising for Alzheimer's research. I think all of you know that with the dollars that you raise, the Alzheimer's Association fuels research progress at every stage. You heard this from Harry Johns, our president and CEO, earlier. We are raising money to invest in high potential projects that have the opportunity to change our future. In just the last 5 years alone, the Alzheimer's Association has generated a total impact funding of $1.4 billion, something I'm so proud to lead at the Alzheimer's Association. We've played a vital role in almost every advance and significant development in research to date. The pandemic has, of course, modified the way we do everything, including this virtual challenge. And COVID-19 also has modified our plans in the scientific community. You heard a little bit about that from Harry. There's no doubt that we felt the impact as well. And for example, the largest discussion on Alzheimer's and dementia happens at the Alzheimer's Association's International Conference, our conference. And we would have expected a record of maybe 6,000 in Amsterdam in July this past year. But instead, we had to go completely virtual. And just like we're doing here, this virtual challenge, we actually had over 32,000 researchers register for our conference this time. Not over 6,000, 32,000. Wow. And we made the event free because that we knew would open the door for greater participation from around the world. So I'm just going to share with you just a quick minute of some of the most exciting things that happened at AAIC. The first is that, wow, we're really trying to understand that biology underlying the disease. That's important because when we measure biomarkers, those markers of change in our body, in particular in our brain, then we can actually learn more about the disease and track it and find those targets that we need in order to actually treat it more effectively. So this is important. But one of the biggest news that came out, the biggest pieces of news that came out at this year's Alzheimer's Association International Conference was that a blood test that could measure the tau protein, which is one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's, was actually able to distinguish between people with Alzheimer's and people with other dementia. Amazing. This was done across 3 different countries and actually in 3 different populations. So more and more evidence telling us that we might be on the right path for that blood marker. Imagine how we can use that in the clinic. Now, not in the clinic today, it's still in research, but it would really allow researchers to understand clinical trials. And then, can you imagine if it was in the doctor's office, it would really allow us to be able to diagnose much earlier and perhaps treat earlier. In addition, I'll tell you, I can share with you that we had so many clinical trials report at our conference. These are clinical trials that are testing those treatments that we hope we have tomorrow. And our own Alzheimer's Association funded Part the Cloud clinical trial programs, we actually had 18 of 39 of those clinical trials report out. So progress is happening. It's coming, and we see it at our conference because through this conference that is global, we keep our finger on the pulse of what's happening in the research community. So remember, these clinical trials cannot happen without volunteers. So I'm going to ask all of you to understand that we need 31,000 volunteers right now just to fill these trials that are going on right now. And the faster we get those answers, the faster we fill those trials, the faster we'll know whether those treatments could work or not. And if they don't work, we got to move on to the next one because we're in a hurry. We don't have time. So please visit TrialMatch, our TrialMatch site that will help you find a clinical trial. We're looking for people with dementia and actually without to help us to find these answers. So alz.org/trialmatch will get you to our trial matching system and help you find a clinical trial for you or your loved one. So lastly, I know, Dave, that these months have been so hard for all of us on a personal level, on a professional level, probably both. And we are just so grateful to all of you for your dedication in the ride to End ALZ. The commitment has been so moving. It inspires us. It keeps us going in the face of every challenge because Alzheimer's is our biggest challenge. And we will not stop until we end Alzheimer's. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dave.
Well, thank you, Maria. Maria, I did want to really note our community is so grateful for the work that you're doing. And I would like to know from your perspective how much it means to you that all of the money being raised here is going directly to research. You talk about the importance of 31,000 volunteers. I love that energy that we have is able to bring so much to you. So we're actually going to jump right into our national anthem here. So I want to thank Maria, and as we get ready for our ride, we're going to go ahead and send things over to the world of Zwift. And if I could ask everyone out there to please rise and remove your hats, we're going to now play the national anthem of the United States of America. Well, that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Gabriel. And Gabriel's sidekick there doing a wonderful job. Well, here's my sidekick. Actually, good to see you, Nathan. This is Nathan Guerra joining us from Wisconsin. Nathan is one of the masterminds at Zwift Community Live, hosts races and rides just about every day of the week out there, but today is an extra special day. Nathan, I heard we have over 500 riders out there on Zwift. Where are we riding today? Where's everybody going to start things out?
Yeah, we're out in France today. Thanks a lot, Dave. And recently, Zwift did launch the French course. Pretty awesome. In response to the reality of COVID also. So with the Tour de France happening on Zwift virtually about a month and a half ago. So that was pretty awesome. So we are out in France, and we are definitely with a lot of riders. So let's go ahead and jump right on it. Now, for anybody that's unfamiliar with Zwift, this is a virtual world in which people are actually riding real bikes at their homes or wherever they're at in the world, connected to the platform. Real power is being put out into the game in order to power these avatars. So everyone that you're seeing on screen with these avatars, as we click through them, are real riders that are taking place in the Ride to End ALZ virtually right now together, which is a pretty amazing ability that we now have today.
Excited to be the host of today's show. We also want to thank our friends at Cadence Sports for helping create the Ride to End ALZ Fall Virtual Challenge. Cadence Sports are the leaders in the cause-related cycling space. They produce 3 of the top 5 events in the country. So it's really cool that our team was able to come together and create this virtual experience today. And I see, so Nathan has the ability to show us a bunch of different riders out there. We also have riders out in real life, and we've been asking folks to take some selfies and send them in to us. You can even take a selfie on Zwift, Nathan, if you want to. But again, it's really fun to see so many people out here. One of the things, as you mentioned, COVID there that we were talking about, and you can really see that with some of the volunteers and folks that you meet in this Alzheimer's community, is that exercise is a big part of mental health, and it's a gathering of the tribe. Everybody who shares this common interest, Nathan, has a chance to do that. And that is really similar to what Zwift is all about. There's a really big community effort to what we're doing out here. So, Nathan, they can choose how hard they want to go, how far they're going to ride, I assume?
Yeah, definitely. It's not a race out there today. There's plenty of racing, as we know, that happen out on Zwift, but they can go as difficult as they want to go. They want to, hang out with a pack that's out there. And it looks like a lot of riders are meeting up with people that are around their similar ability. And that's really what's really cool about the platform, is because of how worldwide it is, you are able to jump in at any time of day and meet up with riders that you can hang pace with. And the other thing is that there is the interactions in game here as well that you would have in real life. So as you can see here, we have a rider out of Belgium, S. Patrick, currently trying to hang on to a wheel right in front of him. And there's drafting in game. They do feel the elevation as well. So 5% grading, as you can see, currently being experienced right now in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So pretty cool that all these riders can get out here and still experience the Ride to End ALZ.
Each one of the avatars that you see out here represents an actual human being who is somewhere around the globe. As Nathan mentioned, there are hundreds of thousands of people who Zwift, and at any given time, you could wake up in America Friday at 3 in the morning, and there would be 8,000 people, let's say, out riding. So there's different worlds that you can go to. They're all virtual worlds. Some of them simulate an actual event like the 2012 London Olympics or World Championship courses, and those courses can be really hard. So they have a bunch of different routes. So circling back then, the avatar that you see is every avatar is represented by an actual person. They're on most likely their own bike, and you can get even more sophisticated, but they're on their bike that's on what's called a smart trainer. And that smart trainer basically interprets how many watts, and that's the unit of measure that we use, how many watts the rider is making. And a good example would be, let's say, about 150 watts, and then translate how tall you are. And that would be for the aerodynamic profile, how much effort it takes for you to break through the wind, and how much you weigh, which is really, that's the crux of the whole thing here, is the lighter you are, the easier it is to go uphill. So that all being said, you put in all that information into the Zwift algorithm, and then next thing you know, you're riding around on Route Mapoulet, which is where we are in France. As Nathan mentioned, this was just recently added into the Zwift world. This was part of the virtual Tour de France that we're riding on right now. Over 500 folks are out there riding. So I did want to thank, as we watched Don's video and talked with Sarah Prevost last night, we had the opportunity to get together a bunch of the fundraisers for Ride to End ALZ, or really Alzheimer's Association, as a lot of folks have tremendous scope in their fundraising. And Nathan, one of the commonly asked questions of Dr. Maria Carrillo, and I really thank Dr. Carrillo for, boy, is she engaged in this, not only knowledgeable, but really has that passion, and it radiates out when you talk to her. And last night, people were asking questions. And certainly one of the things that came up a lot was, what do I do now that we've heard that Alzheimer's has been diagnosed? And, an answer that came up was exercise and diet. Right, Nathan? I think that applies to all of us, no matter who you are or where you are. But certainly if you're going through tough times, paying extra attention to things like exercise and diet makes a big difference. And I know that's a secret to your success.
100%. Yeah. I mean, when it comes to healthcare, it starts at home, right? So definitely a thing that everybody can, especially now though, being in the home though, it's so, a lot of these situations that we're seeing now where people are moving a lot of their exercise, obviously, into the house. So let's go ahead. It looks like we're heading on over, though, to Dave Goldman is coming on board with us here.
Oh, great.
Dave. So I think we got him on board, and great to have him here. So let's head on over there, Dave.
Yeah, I have the honor now to introduce our first live interview, Alzheimer's Association Board Chair, Dave Goldman. Dave, I saw you talking last night as well. It moved me. I'll be honest. This entire thing is not something that you go into lighthearted. A bike ride certainly helps us alleviate some of the pain that folks are feeling, and a lot of intense emotions that you go through. And I know that you've been through that journey yourself. I really do want to thank you for participating in the virtual challenge again today. And I loved. In last night, I saw a little more about that story about your ride in Colorado and meeting up with another group of like-minded Alzheimer's Association supporters. Can you tell us that story? I think people will really enjoy it while they're out there riding on Zwift right now. Again, welcome, Dave.
Hi, good morning, Dave, and good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado, and I hope it's the same wherever you are. This story that Dave is referring to, we did our first ride in this series back in June, and 3 friends and myself rode from my house to downtown Denver, which is about 35 miles. And we were on the bike path system in Denver, and we came upon a group of 12 riders wearing these same jerseys, the Ride to End ALZ jerseys, which are pretty recognizable. And it was a group of people from Breckenridge, Colorado, it took them about 2 hours to drive to Denver for the ride. So we ended up engaging with them, and we did the rest of the ride to downtown Denver with them and had coffee in the middle of the city, and just had an opportunity to share our experience, why we are riding, and brought the purpose of the ride together. To me, it was one of the most remarkable times that I've been on an event like this, to meet a new group with the shared experiences and to continue the journey together with them, which was just fantastic. And And I will forever be grateful that those two groups were able to meet together in the way that they did. And I would also say, I'd also say, Dave, that, all the people that are riding today, those 500 riders on Zwift and all the other riders that are beginning that journey today, thanks to you for making this an event that is just remarkable in many ways. To see those Ride to End All jerseys so many places, it's simply inspiring. This has been the inaugural year for this event, all to, as has been mentioned earlier, all to support Alzheimer's research. So special thanks to each of you riding today, and then also reach out and shout out to Sarah Prevost and her team for putting this event together so that we all have the opportunity to participate.
Yeah, Dave, when you hear numbers like 16 million caregivers out there, each one of them has a story that will break your heart, to be honest. It's really one of the things when you talk about how people get involved and want to not only donate, but give their time, which is so significant. They all have a very, very strong reason. Would you be kind enough to share your reason for getting involved with Alzheimer's Association? What was your connection that eventually brought you to become board chair?
Of course. Well, this is my 9th year as a volunteer for the organization. And this goes back to a story about my in-laws, Janet and Gordo. Janet was diagnosed with the disease many, many years ago. And Gordon, being the wonderful husband that he was, became the primary caregiver. And it's a story that many of us know. In this case, the wear and tear on Gordon, the mental and physical challenge of taking care of someone, a loved one in this case, with Alzheimer's, just wore him out. And he passed 6 months before Janet. And, this story is all too common. So the work we're doing today with this ride and other events like this to raise money for Alzheimer's research is really so this story has a different ending someday. And I thank each of you that are involved in making this happen, because without your involvement, we would not be able to accomplish what we intend to accomplish. And that is a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia. So thanks to you all for participating today.
Yeah, Dave, I felt so inspired when I heard Dr. Maria Carrillo speaking too, because it's one thing to have hope, but it's another thing to have that belief that real change is being made. And I know you must be really excited to hear kind of concrete things are happening out there. So thank you for sharing your story. I think it gives a lot of us courage to share our story as well. And we have them coming in from 50 states out there and actually 5 different countries right now. So Dave, again, the scope of this event is so impressive, isn't it?
It is remarkable. So riders from India, Spain, Estonia, and UK are joining us all in the US today. Just remarkable. And the fact that we have riders participating from all 50 states. It is simply the breadth of this is amazing. So I think it's an indication of how widespread and how many parts of the world people are impacted by this disease. It's not just a disease that originates and happens with people in the US. It is a worldwide disease. And to have that international aspect of the ride today, it's just fantastic. So I hope that you are all able to get out there and ride today, even if you have a rusty little bike in the garage, maybe a quick trip around the block. I would encourage you to do so. And if you don't have the chance to get out on a bike today, there's still ways to donate and support this cause and help us raise money for Alzheimer's research today. You can text to donate. And what a way to honor one of your friends, associates, could be a family member. in this special way today. And, each of you have a wonderful ride. Thanks for everything that you do. Volunteers are the lifeblood of this organization. Each of you makes a difference. And I want you to know personally from me that I appreciate each and everything you do to support the organization. So thank you.
You can really feel that, Dave. Thank you very, very much. There's no doubt that the volunteers that we have with Ride to End ALZ and the bigger umbrella Alzheimer's Association are the salt of the earth. So, Nathan, looks like we're jumping back in with all of our friends. That's a nice group moving along. They're motoring right now here. There's so much data that you can get. That's one of the things for folks that, for some folks, that makes Zwift super appealing, is that you can really dig in. There's a guy who knows his way around Zwift, our friend Gary Metcalf. Gary works with the crew at Cadence and is one of my all-time favorite people. Actually, Gary is a hardworking triathlete as well. He lives in Texas, but spends a lot of time up in Crested Butte, Colorado, and looks like that altitude's paying off. Look at this, Nathan. They're going over, is that right? 53 kilometers per hour? That's almost 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're doing 50 kilometers per hour. They're on the downhill here. It does look like they had this little bit of a competition going on between them just now, because they did go over the top of the King of the Mountain. In Zwift, there are special jerseys and leaderboards that these riders will be seeing as they go along. And they'll definitely be trying to, I think, compete a little bit amongst this group at least, because it looks like this one's gotten a little bit competitive. Speaking of competitive, I want to give a shout out as well. We do have a pro rider in and amongst us. That's Kristen Kulczynski, riding for 2020. That's jumped into the ride out here today to support. So that's pretty cool to see some pros that are from the Zwift world jumping in as well.
Oh, that's really cool. Actually, she's a big story right now in pro racing. The first ever rider who really didn't race in real life, or I don't think she raced at all in real life, and made her name on this Zwift platform. She is in Long Island, Sag Harbor, where she works as a jeweler. Really interesting to see her out here today. Really appreciate that, Kristen. She's a good person when you talk about a lot of our pro athletes out there. And she's got a big race coming up tomorrow, right, Nathan? Isn't that when they kick off that Zwift Racing League? So
Yeah,
that's
big
maybe she's
racing
just
league
getting
tomorrow.
stretching her legs a little bit with our Alzheimer's Association friends.
Yeah, definitely. It does look like we've got another interview coming on in here, I believe, with Teal. So I'm going to throw that over to you, the two of you, for interview with, I believe it's going to be Teal's coming in after we've got Dave here. So, and then after that,
Okay.
a couple of
All
more.
right. Thanks, Nathan. So I have the honor to introduce one of our top fundraisers today, and she's actually riding indoors on her spin bike. This is Teal Conroy. Welcome, Teal. Nice to see that smiling face. You're honoring the teal and purple as well today. You look awesome. So, hey, how long, how far, how do you do it? By time or distance? What have you got planned for today, Teal?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here today, Dave. It's an honor to be here. I'm planning on going maybe 2 hours. I think that's my goal today. See how far that takes me.
Well, right on.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry, Teal. I was just going to say, you've got a really great story as well. I know you're riding in honor of your grandfather, who you call Granddaddy. I love that. This is a really good time to tell stories. It's so impactful. We'd love to learn more about John Howells. Could you tell us the story?
Absolutely. Well, let me start by showing a picture of him here. See if you can see. These are my grandparents, John Howells and Sherry Howells. My Granddaddy's my hero, and he's a writer. He was a writer his whole life. He worked for the San Jose Mercury News for a number of years, and he had a whole line of books on retirement in different countries around the world. So, he was a wanderer. He would travel to different places and write about what he learned. And one of my favorite memories was going to Mexico on an RV trip with my grandparents, going and stopping at different RV places and just kind of seeing the world. That's who he was. And beyond being a writer, he's a storyteller. He was a person who would enter a room and always have the best joke, always have the best punchline. He would command a presence. He was just a jovial, wonderful person to be around. And, you know, when he started losing those abilities, both to travel, to finish a story, to tell a joke, it was really hard. It was a really hard thing to see. It was hard for my grandmother to see, you know, year over year as he was in decline. But I will say the last moment that I saw him back in February, he was trying to tell me a joke and he couldn't quite get to that punchline, but you could see that twinkle right in his eyes. And I was able to hold his hand and say, you know what, it's okay, because I love you. And at a point where he couldn't quite finish sentences, he said really clearly, you do? Well, that's good. And those are words that I'm just going to carry with me forever.
He'd be so proud of you. That storytelling ability, I can see it shining through you right now. Honestly, Teal, that's you bring so much to this. So hey, in this day and age, being genuine, people can sniff out a fraud in a second out there. And when your heart is really into something, people want to support you and believe in you. I heard you were a little surprised at your friends and family's generosity out there. You shouldn't be surprised because you are flat out awesome in what you're doing here. But can you talk about that, about maybe that leap of faith, about fundraising, asking people for money? If you're not super comfortable doing that, I get it. You're asking for a bigger cause, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it is always a challenge to step out of your comfort zone and ask for something above and beyond, especially in these challenging times. But I think that particularly in these times, people are looking for forward movement. And Dave, you said it so well earlier. It's, you know, it's about physical movement and mental health and what that can bring to you. I know that it's helped me. But it's also about progression and seeing things like research move forward, seeing families have support during these challenging moments that they all face. And it was really lovely to see not only my family and friends support me, but also folks that I had no idea had family members with Alzheimer's or other dementias that stepped forward and told me their story. It was really a moment of community. It was a moment of caring. And I just feel so completely honored that people have chosen this moment in time to make a contribution. I mean, I know that COVID-19 has been very hard. I know for myself, I wasn't able to be there to see my grandfather when he passed. My grandmother hasn't been able to have a service. But to see people step forward with generosity and lean into these moments, it's so powerful and it means so much.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for your time, Teal. I'm going to highlight what Teal says there as we let Teal spin away, and she will be logging many, many kilometers. Thanks again, Teal, riding
Thank
again
you.
to honor her grad daddy, John Howes. Yeah, what an awesome person. And, you know, I'll tell you what, next year, let's use Fort Collins as an example for a Ride to End ALZ event. I would love to meet Teal and have her relay one of the best stories that John had to us all. So, hey, Nathan, welcome back here. It certainly is emotional when you hear these stories. If it doesn't touch you, you should probably go see your doctor. You might not have a heart. Because I tell you, one of the things that I know you like to do is ride your bike. It's great for mental health, as Teal mentioned. And I know a lot of people probably really feeling good today, even though it's a tough time. So how's everybody doing out there? Everything going smoothly?
Yeah, there's riders. There's a lot of riders out on course, which is really great to see. I'm seeing a lot of chat coming through over on Facebook as well as YouTube. It's great to see everybody coming in. Lots of thank yous coming in. I can see a lot of stories, personal stories. I mean, we got a lot of personal stories we're showing right now, obviously here on the program. But I mean, how many people this is touching, you can tell as well, just coming through for a chat. You know, it's pretty amazing. Also out on course, we have riders that we want to definitely highlight. Catherine Morcom raised $1,100. Jamie Chase I believe we're going to have her on board here for an interview as well. $2,575 raised. Heather Hansen, $968 as well. So Gary Metcalf, who we just saw as well, $520, also riding the Spring Challenge earlier. So pretty awesome. All these riders here able to participate and still raise. So pretty amazing here, Dave. Really, really great. And, 11.7 kilometers in, 26 minutes of riding so far, but I think we also have riders outdoors doing some riding, not just out on Zwift here today, Dave.
Yeah, we sure do. Countless riders outdoors. Actually, we've been asking folks to take a selfie and send in photos, and I bet we're starting to collect some of those. But at some point soon, I know we have Heather Hansen that will be joining us, and Mark Denzen as well. They both have some really interesting stories to tell. So we again are out here in the French world of Mapule, they call it. It's one of the many alternatives that you have when you're Zwifting. You can also choose different routes within those worlds, but this is a really nice looking group moving along. Just the right size here, as I'm wondering if that's. I know that we had Kristen Kulczynski out here earlier. I thought maybe that. So 2020 is the team that she rides for. That's a team that includes U.S. Olympian. I would actually say one of the greatest active American racers on that team is Chloe Dygert. And that's one of the fun things about Zwift. So we do have Mark Denzen available, I'm hearing. So this will be great. I am very interested to hear how it's going in Texas this morning, and that is where we will find Mark. Mark, great to see you out there. Looks like a beautiful Texas morning, that's for sure. You're part of the Texas committee. Good to see you. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. I'm fine. How are you?
So I'm going to, unfortunately, I wasn't hearing Mark right there, but perfect. Oh, there we go. So, hey, Mark, again, welcome. Talk to me about where you are and how are you just starting the ride? Are you taking a break mid-ride here?
Yeah, Dave, good morning. Thanks for having me. We're about halfway through our ride here in North Texas. We started in McKinney this morning. Because of the COVID, of course, our contingent is a little bit broken up, but there's been about 50 of us that have launched it from different locations, but our small group started in McKinney, and some of them have gone on, but I've got a good buddy that stayed with me here, Ty Maple. So we're about halfway through our ride.
Man, I tell you what, everybody needs a Ty Maples, don't they? You got to have a sidekick if you're out there. Hey, I would love to hear more, and I hope that you've had a chance to relay to Ty some of your stories about your father, Barney. Sounds like a really amazing man. And that journey that you two went together, it had to have been really, really tough at the end. Can you tell us more about his battle with Alzheimer's?
Sure, Dave. Yeah, my dad, Barney, he was one of those guys that growing up, the entire neighborhood, liked being around my dad. He was a baseball coach. He was a basketball, football coach. Just always was very active and just a really good person. And he and my mom, they in the latter years they were splitting time between Colorado, where I grew up, and here in Texas. They would winter here in Texas and summer back in Colorado. And as he started on his journey, we started to notice. There was just things that were normal just stopped being normal. And even though it was hard on my dad, and what I saw during the journey was really the impact it made on my mom and my sister, who were the primary caregivers, and just the burden that it put on them. And that probably more than anything resonated with me on how terrible this disease is the effect that it has on the rest of the family.
Mark, and just meeting you here and seeing what you're doing, I know that Barney passed on. The most important thing is that you're a good person too. And I think that's extremely important here. That's the foundation of all of this. It starts with being a good person and then embracing how can I make change. And then you raise money. And then that money, what happens to it, right? Well, in this case, 100% of it goes to research. Talk to me about how much that means to you.
Well, research is the key, and supporting the science is going to be what ends this disease. My friends got behind me. We created a little team here, and we were able to raise close to $2,000, and I'm very proud of that. And thankful for everybody who donated to me. But it's my efforts and the efforts of every other rider this fall, and I know that there was many of us out there this spring in Colorado. And it's that collective fundraising that is going to support the science, and it's going to find the causes and the cures, and that's going to be what ultimately helps other families that were going to be dealing with this not have to deal with that. So the research is the key, and I'm just glad that we can support it. And of course, being active and a part of this ride is a lot of fun as well.
Thank you so much, Mark. Hey, I hope that wind that we hear is going to be a tailwind for you on your way back, because you earned it. Good job, my friend.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you guys, and ride safe, everyone.
Right on. Well said from Mark Denson there. Ride safe is right for everybody outside. Nathan, I don't know if you've ever fallen off your bike after an effort on Zwift, but it is certainly pretty safe inside. That's for sure. As we look at a group, looks like a bunch of British riders jumping in there with us. Such an international day for us here. I heard Harry Johns, maybe it was Dave Goldman, or both, talking about it's not just the 50 states represented, but a lot of countries around the globe, because Alzheimer's is a worldwide issue, and what a perfect way for us all to come together. The Peloton, as they call it, Nathan, rolling along here.
Yeah, definitely. We got Jamie Chase here, it looks like. I believe it is, coming out of the US of A, having a solid ride. And looks like lots of international flags all around. Rider coming out of Sweden, looking at also Switzerland, Great Britain, as you were saying. So all of them drafting on each other, it looks like, as well as they're 15.5 kilometers into the ride. And chasing them down, it looks like there's a couple of solo riders here looking for somebody to ride with. Now, we do have Morcom here. I believe this is one of the fundraisers, if I'm not incorrect. This is going to be Catherine Morcom that has raised $1,100 out on course right now, hammering away 14.7 in.
Yeah, Nathan, I love that you can jump around from rider to rider. Nathan Guerra, our producer, is in Wisconsin, and basically every single day is either out riding on Zwift or helping create events. Oh, great. All righty. So as we take a look at a couple of folks riding around virtually, that's another thing that I love about Zwift, is the ability to just jump right in and ride with someone. And I think we have a chance to do that with Heather Hansen. It's really cool to honor one of our top fundraisers here. Heather does some really solid work out there. And I appreciate the fact that this community comes together. I mean, it really does make me long for an in real life event more than ever, to tell you the truth, because this is that taste that gets you very, very close to thinking, I can't wait to be back with these people, start hearing the stories again. And it's interesting too. Yeah, we get deep and we can talk about the reasons why people are involved in supporting the Alzheimer's Association. But then you have to remember, in that scope of mental health, getting out for a bike ride and having a few laughs and a few experiences is just good for the soul. And I think that's something that you really see with everyone that you meet, whether it's Sarah Prevost, Dave, any of the people involved with Alzheimer's, is fundamentally the baseline is they're good people. And speaking of good people, I think we can go right into meeting one of our Zwifters and top fundraisers, Heather Hansen. I'd love to welcome you, Heather, right on. So good to see you. Heather, where do we find you right now? Where are you?
I am in my home gym on Zwift, south of San Antonio.
Oh, great. Nice. Texas really well represented. So it's great to know that you're out there, Heather. When we talk about fundraising and all of the cool things that go on, mental health is another part of that. So I hear that you're riding in honor of your mom, Darlene. We'd love to hear more about Darlene. Can you tell us?
Oh my gosh, my mom was the strongest woman I've ever met in my life. shoot, she would correct other people's children in the grocery store when I was a kid. Embarrassed the heck out of me, but she was right. My folks are both self-employed most of their lives. They team drove long-haul semi-trucks cross country for a few years, and Mom was only like 5'2", really short, but she could handle that semi-truck. But what I miss the most is that I could talk to her about anything. Even as a kid, all of my friends would come to our house to talk to my mom because she would listen. But Alzheimer's took that away from us very, very slowly over about 15 years. I wasn't going to cry today, but sorry. It's a good thing I'm writing. It's going to distract me a little bit.
Hey, listen, Heather, absolutely. You're going to make a lot of other folks cry too, and I think that's part of the process that we have here. If we want to find solutions, we're going to have to be honest with ourselves, and that's all part of it. So you're very, very safe where you are. We're all with you, that's for sure. So, it's more than just Darlene, your mom. Other folks have been affected. This has had a huge impact on your life, and I really understand what has motivated you here. Let's talk about that research, right? I don't know if you were on the call last night or the Zoom last night, but man, I tell you, when you hear Dr. Maria Carrillo talk, there's some concrete things that are happening. Talk to me about how good that was to hear, just how you feel about 100% of the funds raised here going to research, because it matters to you. These are your people.
It's amazingly wonderful that all of the money being raised right now is going to research. And that's what we're going to need. We're going to need the scientists who can study it, the people who will join clinical trials to figure it out, the caregivers. We need this disease to be eradicated so that we don't have to care for people suffering through this, because we love them and we don't want to lose them this way. Science is the only way it's going to work.
Yeah, so I agree. I agree. Let's stay on task. And Heather, I can't thank you enough for the efforts that you're making. For anybody out there who's watching that hasn't decided who you want to donate in honor of today, I would highly recommend Heather and donating in honor of her mom, Darlene. Heather, you keep going out there. You're really, really an impressive person. Right on.
Thank you.
Oh, Nathan. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. Boy, I guess that's part of it, Nathan, is as I was saying to Heather there was no way this was going to be easy. It wasn't just going to be a lark to get through today, because we are going to touch on very emotional issues. There's no joke here when you talk about what Alzheimer's does to families. And I think one of the real takeaways for those who haven't been through it yet, and hopefully you don't have to go through it, hopefully the research will pay dividends for us and quickly. But until that time, when you see how the caregivers have been impacted, it changes your life. Believe me. Again, this isn't a joke. If that doesn't impact you, I'm concerned about your soul. That's for sure. So, all right, Nathan, these folks are moving along here. I love that. That's one of the things that they say, right? If you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah, and they're definitely pedaling away here in amazing cause. These stories are so amazing, really, really great to hear. And as far as the touch point for what people are getting involved in here, how people are right now able to be a part of these stories in some amazing ways, and the whole idea of research and really coming up against and fighting this disease. That's what this is really all about. And I'm loving to see us and loving to hear it. And the hope also that is still there for that. And that's really what that's all about here today. So it's been really touching so far. Lots of tears shed so far, you can see. And I love the personal touch from everybody here. So I love it also that we can be a part of that process, as you were saying, Dave. That is, that process for each one of these individuals that's been affected. It's been really awesome to see that. And them being able to share their story here has been really cool, because I think that's a part of the process too.
I agree, Nathan. You know, it's not about comparing and contrasting to what others are doing, but what I will say is I've never met a more dedicated group of volunteers that so many of them's lives have been impacted in a major way by this, and that's one of the reasons why that hopefully today that we'll be able to go to Dr. Maria Carrillo and her colleagues and say, good, because Nathan, something that you learn, I learned this from Harry Johns last night as well, is the Alzheimer's Association is incredibly reactive. And where our government has a lot on its hands right now, a ton of things going on, maybe Alzheimer's research isn't their number one priority, but it is ours. There's no doubt about that. And when you get on board with Harry and Dr. Carrillo and Dave and his energy of bringing, I mean, that man is like a magnet of bringing people involved. So the donations coming in here at the bottom of the screen, Nathan, you can see that texting RIDE ALZ to 51555 is how you can send a donation. I'd love to be calling your name out here. Love to get you as part of our team if you're not already. Nathan, some people have already, wait, have they really already done 20 kilometers of riding out? I guess that's what you get if you're motoring at 35 kilometers per hour out there. Great job, everybody.
Yeah, and I'd love to see the live donations as they're coming in here. We had Anonymous for $50. We saw Julie K. Taylor coming in for $50. Beth Palisek there coming in for $25. So it's really great to see as those live donations do come in. Awesome. Thanks, everybody who's getting involved. I believe a lot of that's most likely coming in from the live stream. So we do see you out there in chat as well as you're coming in with those live donations. Really great to see. Also, the reality of these riders, though, that you were talking about, they are just finishing up their first lap, it looks like, this group out on course here in this French world. They're going to be heading on over toward the Queen of the Mountain, King of the Mountain again in just a moment here. But lots of different flags out here, lots of different riders, 34 kilometers per hour currently coming from these riders, and all different ability levels, though, able to ride together, which is always really cool. Different levels of effort coming from them at this moment.
Yeah, Nathan, there are some group rides that I do with pro riders, and I am far from a pro rider, but it keeps us all together. And I love that feature. There's a ton of things that Zwift does that help make the experience tailored to you and what you're looking for out here. You don't have to be a racer. You don't have to be someone who's just looking to spin your legs. There's everything in between. So it's always nice to be in a group like this. Drafting does matter, just like in real life. So you can move along a little bit quicker. It also helps you move your needle for fitness a little faster when you ride with people who are stronger than you. And that's another great point, Nathan, as I just saw that John Denny donating $25 here. One of the great things about the power of a movement like Alzheimer's Association is the gravity that you feel. And once you see other people doing good work, it makes you want to do more good work. And I tell you what, the inspiring crew, I mean, Heather, you were as close to having me crying on this broadcast as is possible. Took everything I could. And you know what? That is a great thing because it means that you're genuine and you really care. I absolutely love what you're about, Heather. And I think, Nathan, we're going to have a chance. They're getting Jamie Chase ready to chat with here. That's Jamie that we're looking at right now out with this, the icon for Jamie out on course.
Real quickly, just want a couple of the comments before we head over to Jamie here. I'm seeing Kathy Anderson Myers. This is an awesome ride this morning. I'll be outside riding at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time. Keep on riding to End ALZ. Also seeing Rosa Perez coming in, honoring my mom. I would like to work with people with Alzheimer's. Passed away 3 years ago. And wants to get involved with the institutions. Great to see. Obviously, somebody's going to be in contact with Rosa. Very cool. So lots of comments coming on. Keep them coming. Keep the live donations coming in. It's really great to see. And, yep, we are going to be heading on over to Jamie Chase. It looks like she's live with us riding on Zwift here, Dave.
Hey, well, fantastic. So again, one of our top fundraisers and all-time great people. There she is, Jamie. Great to
Hi,
see your
John.
smiling face. Hey, good morning. So, hey, I see you're riding in honor of your grandfather, Don.
Yes.
First off, let's start right there. First off, I know Don would be so proud to see you being involved. What do you think about when you think about Don, Jamie?
I think about how he was just a cornerstone to our family and how he showed me his character and his faith and just how he loved everyone and would be super happy that I'm doing this right now.
I can only imagine. So, Don, would he have even understood? So, as someone gets Alzheimer's, obviously a lot of things in everyone's lives change and caregivers. The effort that you're making and what's happening with the virtual bike ride, it's a whole new era, isn't it? But one thing doesn't change, and that's a passion for ending Alzheimer's. He certainly would get you digging in on this, wouldn't he?
Yes, he passed in 2017 and his birthday was just last Sunday. So he'd be very pleased.
So everyone
Go ahead.
everyone has a different skill set out there. Fundraising can be challenging for some and right up the alley for others. Talk to me about how proud you are of all of your other colleagues, I would call them now, out there with the Alzheimer's Association and their efforts in raising funds. And how's it been going for you?
It's been going awesome. I have had so much support from Zwift, the Zwift community, because I posted it on there. I have my picture up with my jersey and everything, on Facebook also. And my family, they've just all been very supportive.
So one thing we didn't talk about yet was your dedication. You really kicked things into high gear, from what I'm hearing a few weeks ago, and that's awesome. It really is. Everyone is inspired by you being inspired. That's for sure. So can you tell us about the Ride to End All's Training Week Strava challenge that took place in September? How did that go?
It's going great. I started fundraising on the 28th of September, and it's just been going strong.
Well, great. Well, thanks a lot, Jamie. So, Jamie, plugging away out there. It's always great to see another one of our riders out on Zwift. Thanks, Nathan.
I would love to see
Go ahead.
Zwift
Go ahead, Jamie.
jersey. I would love to see a Zwift jersey on the game so that I can support.
You know what? I will pass that on, Jamie. Thanks. Absolutely. So what Jamie is saying is that she'd love to see one of the Alzheimer's, the teal and purple jersey, so that she could have that on her avatar when she's out there. Hey, Jamie, with all the work that you do, I will get right on that. That's for sure.
Thank you.
So Jamie has raised over $2,500, and it's actually growing right now. So Jamie, great job out there. You can donate as well, and we would love your support. That's for sure. Just text RIDE ALZ to 51555. And you will be part of the mix and part of the solution out here. So again, was Jamie Chase that we were talking to. You can see Jamie's icon, and Jamie's right. I hope that sooner than later we can get an Alzheimer's Association jersey out here as well. All right. So here, as we watch Jamie here, Route Ma Poulet is going to be what we call the route. This is the perfect place to ride today. No doubt about it. As you can see, the wildflowers there in virtual France, inspiring all of our riders. They've been out there for 50 minutes. Boy, time really does fly. Everybody riding at their own pace. It's nice to find a nice little group there. And that's the way you want to do it.
Yeah, we do have some live donations coming in here, Dave, as well. We had another anonymous for $100. Kelsey Road coming in for $25 there as well. We also saw just a moment ago a $50 donation as well. We're going to see, so amazing to see all these live donations continue to come in. The ride is just, going to be 90 minutes in total here. So riders will keep on hammering away as we finish out the broadcast. Tammy Sladek is who came in there, it looks like, with that $50 donation just a few moments ago. So pretty cool to see, again, Kelsey Road with 25 here. So it does look like we're going back over to Dave and Sarah Prevost here to chat a little bit and finish it out here. Talk also something about some Strava stuff that's been going on. So throw it over to you two, Dave.
Hey, thank you, Nathan. Yeah, just talking with Jamie about that as well. So another element of the ride here is Strava, which is also virtual, but it's also in real life as well. Sarah, what a great day it's been. First off, you have collected the most awesome group of people to support you in the efforts here for Alzheimer's Association. First off, you just must be incredibly proud of all of the hard work being done out here before we jump in on Strava. Can you talk to me about how you're feeling?
Yeah, I am, proud would be a great word. I keep saying that to everybody. I'm so proud of you. And those that you know and love with Alzheimer's would be so proud of you. I mean, you just hear all those stories, and I've been in tears listening to them. I mean, Teal talking about her granddaddy, Mark talking about Barney, Heather about Darlene, Jamie about Don. I mean, all of these stories are so important. And people have been asking me, hey, will you share my story, share my picture? I'm really encouraging people to share it on Facebook, share it on social media, share it in, sign up and share it on your participant page. Sharing stories is the key to this. And I'm proud. I'm proud of everyone today for sharing their story, for riding, for raising. I mean, everyone has such dedication and determination and desire, and it's been amazing.
Yeah, Sarah, I hear you. The thing that impacted me by far the most is the individual stories, one at a time. Every single one makes you want to get involved and end Alzheimer's. And I think, in all honesty, I think one of the coolest things here is that the folks who donate today realize that 100% of the money they're giving is going straight into research. And that research is really reactive. It's amazing how we just get right through it. We cut through all of the red tape when you look at, Dr. Maria Carrillo was a perfect example. So anyways, I'm just blown away here today. And I know all of us that have working to help create this event, the inspiration that we have felt, I've never felt anything like it. So Sarah, you're incredible. Thanks. So Strava, how have you been doing? Have people been logging? Yeah. Have people been logging massive miles out there?
Oh my goodness. So we started a Strava training challenge in September, and I'm happy to share more about that. It was for World Alzheimer's Month. So 1 week we asked people to join us and ride 30 minutes a day for 7 days for a total of 210 minutes. 69,720 people participated in 55 different countries, completing over 4 million miles in just 1 week. I can't even believe it. That's 162 times around the earth. They have been posting pics of their routes and encouraging other. It was just incredible. Just over 52,000 people completed the challenge. Look at all of these pictures, everyone posting and sharing with each other. And this continues. It doesn't just end today. This isn't just a one-day event. When you join the Ride to End ALZ, you join a family and a community that is supporting each other. So we're going to do things all year long. And that Strava challenge was just something that, people are so committed to not only raising money for research with this cause, but also staying healthy and encouraging each other through goals. So we did that 1 week Strava challenge, and we're going to do other things like that. So if you're not involved yet, if you're just watching today, sitting on your couch, you know what? Get on your bike, and even 1 minute, 1 mile, you will be faster than everyone on your couch. It doesn't matter what speed you go, but get on your bike. We need more people on bikes, even if you start just going around the block.
Could not agree more. So, Sarah, as we look back here, we heard some incredible stories. I think we were enlightened with some great information, but more so inspired to give. And folks can do that by texting 51555 to RIDE ALZ. I really hope you do. You're going to make a difference. So, Sarah, your perspective as we look back on our fall challenge here.
You know, it's crazy. This is the inaugural year of the Ride to End ALZ. Some people are like, oh, I just heard about it. Well, you just heard about it because it's brand new. You know, we've had some rides for the association going on and trying to get cyclists, and this year is the real kickoff year. And we've had over 1,000 people participate this year. Next year, we're going to have 2 virtual challenges and 2 in-person rides. If you do our in-person, I'm basically planning the best cycling vacation that you've ever taken. So you've got to do that one. And, you know, it's an honor. You know, people have given me props, and it's not me. It's bigger than me. This is about making a difference and really seeing big change. We are doing a big thing, and it is an honor to watch, just to watch all of this today. It's been my honor to hear all the stories and encourage people and motivate them, but they are the ones encouraging and motivating me.
Well, Sarah Prevo, you have encouraged and motivated me. That's for sure. And don't sell yourself short. You might not see it that way, but you're really a nucleus for a lot of us. And you know what? A connecting point. I would have never met Don Cook if I hadn't have met you. And I think that we really want to build on that. When it becomes personal, the fight changes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like today this became personal. I'm not going to let Alzheimer's keep rolling over families and the 16 million caregivers out there. And a lot of those caregivers, Sarah, as you well know, are our volunteers as well. They make up that community. These are the best people in the world, flat out the best people in the world.
They are. And I didn't mention why I'm riding. I've got my bib today. I'm riding for my father-in-law, Richard Prevo, and I'm actually going on a family ride today. And, you know, this is something that get the whole family involved. It's not just the person that is the avid cyclist, but this is about your entire family and making a commitment to do something. I think I said it before, to do something when a lot of times Alzheimer's and all dementias make you feel a little helpless. This is something we can do to help. And this is something we can do together. So if you're not already involved, I just want to say, get involved at whatever it is. And if you're not going to ride on your bike, let's walk. Just get involved with the Alzheimer's Association. You will not regret it. It could change your life.
Couldn't agree, Sarah. And the final point I'm going to make is there's a lot of stories that are being told out there, and let's listen to those stories and honor the people that are telling them. And then let's take that empowerment and create change. And that's exactly what we're doing today with the Alzheimer's Association. I'm so proud of you, Sarah.
Thank you. And I'm proud of everyone. I've got my cowbell. I think we were supposed to have some clapper as people go on and ride. I just want to say, keep going. I think we had some volunteers. I don't know if we ever got to that video of some volunteers cheering, but it's just one of those things that let's cheer each other on. It doesn't stop here. So many people are still going to ride for a little bit longer, and we are cheering you on. We are here today cheering you. We're so excited.
Sarah, I think we're going to try to find that video because I want to see it too. We tried to put 10 pounds of love in a 5-pound bag out here today, if you know what I mean. So there were so many great folks to talk to. So Sarah, thank you. We're going to go back and pick up all the folks out there riding, but I can't say that we could appreciate you anymore, Sarah Prevo. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you so
good
much.
people right there, folks. Yeah, no doubt, Sarah. So, boy, we kind of traveled around the globe. We met a lot of incredible people, and some of them are still, Nathan, out riding here. As we take a look at a group that's motoring along here, you can see their speed at 57 kilometers per hour. I'm just kind of tuned in to headquarters here to see what we've got, and it looks like more folks are donating. Thank you, Carmen. Carmen Gaudreau sending in $25 to the Alzheimer's Association. Lauren Gibson, thank you very much for that $100 donation. Mustafa, we appreciate the $50 donation. And any of you who want to give anonymously, we appreciate your support. That's for sure. So as Sarah Prevo was talking about, all of our riders out there deserve a big cheer. After today, I think that they earned it, that's for sure. So whether you are a volunteer or a caregiver out there, you're part of our family and we appreciate you. For all of my friends at Caden Sports, it has been quite a journey here today, and especially you, Plum. I love what we're doing with these projects. It makes a big, big difference. And Nathan and the good group of folks at Zwift Community Live, these are the efforts that mean the most to us, that's for sure, as we really do work to distance Alzheimer's and put that in the past. We need to drop Alzheimer's, that's for sure. So for everybody out there who has helped raise funds or donated today, a heartfelt thank you. We really do appreciate it. For everyone at the Alzheimer's Association, I'm Dave Toll. For Caden Sports and Zwift Community Live, my colleague Nathan Guerra, thank you.
Are you hiding behind the sign?
Yeah!